Now this is the new Nugent trailer which has just come from CRG Nickel at Beelham near Kirby Moorside, Helmsley. It has been an order since May though. They only got it in late last week, a few days ago. And first impression is quite good. I haven't even had it on the pickup yet, but when it came into the yard on theirs, the first impression was incredibly quiet because none of these rattling flaps and doors. I haven't got the lower flaps because they never use decks, and you've got more than enough ventilation because you can drop the front down, which should be very useful for loading. Each of those segments are separate obviously, and it's noticeable that all the doors and everything fit sort of with a certain amount of resistance, so they aren't banging in the wind when you try to get in and out. Inside I was a bit taken aback. It had a divider gate in. Now part of the reason I got the 10-foot version is because you aren't legally required to have that, so I've taken it out. At 12-foot you have to have a divider, but it's just annoying when you have to wash it. Difficult to wash behind, another thing to wash, so I've taken it out because I've never used one before. You might occasionally want one if you had say a cow and a calf to keep separate without being hurt. It's a little bit wider than the previous one, I'm sure of it. It may be only like 6 inches. Some of these little sticky out light designs, I'm not too keen on that. That's not going to last long because of the thinness of that wire. That's the same. Just the same, that's not going to last all. Well, you never know. And I don't really know why it has a box here and another similar one at the front. I think the principle is that if you have to change this unit, once you hit it, you just pull the wires out there. You don't have to get underneath and interfere with like block connectors and things. You've got these quite useful things to stand on, because you often want to stand on and look in. And there's another of those block connectors under the front, under there. That's so if you drive away with this attached, or it needs replacing for other reason, because the calves ate it or something, which has happened. You can just change that length of cable. I'm not sure about that there on the Grey Medwards. It was on the front, but there's no real problem with it there. Which side is that? The off side. It's got underneath. It's got leaf springs rather than those kind of torsion bar things. I'll just show you underneath, which is easier done with the camera than going on your hands and knees. I'll probably spray some wax oil under there before any salt is about. Don't know how much good it does, but worth a try. And it has this style of fastener. I'm not a huge fan. It's like two things to undo, isn't it, rather than just the one. The Grey Medwards had just like a bar that you pulled down and it hooks. It's not difficult. They'll get a bit of grease on them. And inside, well, the ramp's quite nice really. It's seems a little bit shallower because you don't have a bar across the top of there. And I must admit, if you're a really mad bull looking there, it might have tried to jump over that. The gates also have this slight stiffness to them, which is partly from being new. But the basic good thing is that nothing really rattles. It's silent on the road. I won't actually open it, but I've got like a little spot there for the gate to set in a hole. There's not really much else to say inside, except it doesn't have that bar at the back. But that's part of the reason why the door is actually a little bit taller. That goes right up to the top. So when it's on the ground, the ramp is a little bit shallower. They do want a bit of grease on. I'm just going to do the number plate this afternoon. my cordless drill. I mean, that's quite a nice thing, because the grey medwards, you have to drill through there and put a bolt through from the back. And this has got, you can just get in there with a spanner, no problem. I'm probably not doing them too much for you to not be familiar with them. But I had that little flap down. You see, they don't really rattle. They might if it eventually, but because they've got plastic hinges. You've only got one fastening thing. Wire again. That looks vulnerable to me. That's not a good design. But it's not essential they work anywhere. You may want at the back if you have at least one marker light. And it does say on the front that the tyres have to be should be at 70 psi. It's that one. On our previous one I used to just put 45 in. This is a new feature. Like that. I don't know why it's got that little leg foot. And this is all exactly the same as the previous one. We've got a lock in it. I'll just look under the front. Some quite hefty metal there. You can see the brakes, just as they are once spraying with. There, they've put some grease on that. That's the only place I've seen any grease. And these two have got the slightly the plasticky. So you use that clip at the top, obviously. But I do quite like that idea. That's just quite thin plastic. So something that happened with my previous one was that the big cows would dent the roof. So this is all quite substantial here. And I'm not sure how much stronger that is really. So anyway, the old grey medwards, I mean, I can't really fault it, but it seemed a bit sort of lightly built to me. You could say that means it towed quite well.